Last month, FEPI sent me a direct email about their fat dividend. This month, FEPI, they didn't send me an email, but they still paid a fat dividend. Now, let's go over how the fund has performed in the past month, and why FEPI and SPYI, they might not be the best 1-2 punch in the income ETF game. So FEPI, the REX, FANG and Innovation Equity Premium Income ETF, rhymes with confetti. No, it doesn't. I really need to stop trying to make that happen. They declared dividends this past week at exactly the same amount as last month's distribution. If we go down here, we can see their distribution this past month for the trading month of February and March was $1.19. That's exactly the same as they paid out the month before. So this is actually their 5th dividend in their young history. All distributions have been between $1.15 and $1.20. Now that is some amazing consistency. For those in retirement, we're aiming for that consistency to pay for all of our living expenses. We don't want it to be too variable, too all over the place. That's going to make it very hard to pay for some pretty fixed bills, right? Your utility bill is generally, for the most part, the same month after month. It's hopefully not huge swings one way or the other. Now, just to give an overview of FEPI's strategy here, right? They have 15 highly liquid stocks focused on building tomorrow's technology today. So very heavy in the tech space. We're talking great companies like Google, Nvidia, Broadcom, Netflix, Microsoft, Palo Alto Networks, cybersecurity, right? So many great companies in here. And then they're doing call options to harvest these high yields. Now, if the underlying stocks do well, which big tech has definitely done well in the past couple of years, some of these will expire in the money, which means we're going to lose some of that upside potential. But if it doesn't, then we end up winning. Either way, we're going to collect those juicy premiums, whether the options trade goes well or bad, we're going to collect those premiums. Now, what I find very impressive about this February dividend is that February actually had less days than January. We can thank the great Julius Caesar for making that change in the year 45 BC. Kind of crazy that 2,000 years later, we're still kind of seeing the benefits. Like, it's almost as if he knew FEPI was going to have this great success during the month of February. Now, this just means that FEPI, they collected more in those juicy premiums in less trading days. But you know what I'm always preaching about on this channel is protect that principle. I don't want to see my wealth erode anytime a distribution comes out. That's just me. There's no just reinvest the dividends broad nonsense over here. Collecting a 60% dividend only to see my capital erode by 60% while paying taxes on top of that and paying a hefty expense ratio, that is absolutely ludicrous. Anybody who tells you that that's a smart strategy clearly has no idea how the stock market works. And remember, guys, you believing in an ETF has no impact on the ETF actually performing well. So far, this has not been a problem for FEPI. They're actually up 9% since their inception. Almost, it was actually done back in last October, so we're coming on their 6-month anniversary. FEPI is on pace for a mind-boggling 25% yield annualized. That is insane. That's very impressive, but have you seen SPYI lately? SPYI is the NEO's S&P 500 high-income ETF and is quickly becoming the favorite in the investing community. Let's talk about SPYI. From the way that you guys talk about it in the comments, this is like the best income ETF out there these days. Now, I've made SPYI review videos before, so let's just talk about some recent news about SPYI. So year to date, they're actually up 4.4% in capital appreciation, and it's actually delivered almost like clockwork, a super consistent, a 48-cent dividend plus or minus 2 cents every single month since their inception in September of 2022. Now, this wouldn't be impressive if the NAV was being eroded each time a dividend got paid out, but it's not doing that. If we go back to the year and a half that's actually been out, it's actually up nearly 4%. But when you're getting a 1% return in dividend each month, now that's money. SPYI's current distribution yield is about 12%. You see how we don't need ridiculous dividend yields to enjoy harvesting the power of income ETFs. And just remember, nothing is ever guaranteed. If anyone tells you they can promise you a guaranteed return, they have no idea what they're talking about. Or possibly, they're probably actually just trying to scam you. Now, just because SPYI and FEPI have done well so far, that doesn't guarantee they will continue to do so forever. Just keep in mind the stock market has done very well since 2021. The true test for how fantastic these ETFs are will be to see how they behave in a bear market and to see that recovery. Remember, with income ETFs, the trade-off is that we're losing some of that upside potential. Now, SPYI does utilize a call option strategy that may include both sold and purchased SPX index options. And now that might provide the opportunity to also capture some upside in rising equity markets. Now, we want to keep as much of those juicy dividends in our greedy pockets. We don't want that money going to the government's greedy hands in taxes. But SPYI, they do try to get us some returns in a tax-efficient manner with their Section 1256 contracts. Now, I go into much more detail on what this is in my prior SPYI videos. Alright guys, long story short, SPYI, FEPI, they have continued their hot streaks. I understand why they're getting so much attention in the finance niche. They're performing very well both in share price and dividend checks. If I was retired and needed that consistent income, I'd look no further than SPYI and FEPI. They're definitely two that I have on my radar. Let me know what you think of these two ETFs in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button to help out a small-time YouTuber. Stay subscribed. My videos are always found in podcast form under the Collect Cash podcast name. Buy, stash, collect cash, and...
Dissector, you are an idiot.